kind of lost in the news of Ezekiel Elliott signing for a mere $15 million a year is Jared Goff signing the biggest contract in the history of the damn league. Right? Like, I want you to think about this for a second. Zeke signed for $15 million a year, which, hey, nothing to wipe your nose at. Right? That's a lot of money. $15 million in 1 year is more than I'll make in my lifetime, more than most of us will make in their lifetime. And to make it in 1 year is pretty phenomenal. Pretty phenomenal. But Jared Goff's deal blows it out of the water, right? A 4-year extension, which all told could be worth $134. That doesn't matter. $110 million in guaranteed. Zeke, $50 million in guarantees. Jared Goff, $110 million in guarantees. Yet, Zeke's is more discussed. Why? It's Cowboys. Why? He held out. Why? It's running back. It's interesting. So he's now tied to the Rams for 6 years, $161. He's scheduled to earn $4.3 million this season. It spikes up to $22.8 million in 2020. They're still getting him relatively on the cheap because he's on a rookie 1-year deal. He's 24-14 as a starter, but a lot of that includes Jeff Fisher, who sucks as a head coach, right? Jeff Fisher's offense is basically, why don't you guys go out and we'll try and find who's open. Jeff Fisher's a defensive guy, a run-the-football guy, but their offense was awful. Awful. Goff has passed for 65 touchdowns, 26 interceptions, 9,581 yards. And while that may not impress you because you're sitting there going like, you're good, he's not that good. He's going back. Right? Sorry, that's how you sound to me. That's also how my kids sound to me, or how I sound to my... I sound to my kids like Charlie Brown's teacher. Homework. But the Jared Goff is a system quarterback. Sean McVay made him. Okay, is Sean McVay going to be the coach of the Rams for here into the future? Yep. So Sean McVay, who we all think knows a thing or two about quarterbacks, right? Can we all say, like, that dude seems to know offense, seems to know quarterback? He signed off on this deal, correct? Right. So, yeah. Okay. The guy who's the quarterback wizard, the guy who's the offensive genius, the guy who's turned around the entire franchise says this guy's good enough. They give a contract which says this guy's good enough, and we're all supposed to freak out? Why? Why is that what we want to do? If it's the system that he's playing in and he's the system quarterback, then what really is the issue? And now part of it, some of it is obviously, some of it is that that we still hold Jared Goff's first season against him, right? When he looked like deer in the headlights. But remember, he hadn't played under center when he was at Cal. He hadn't played on good teams when he was at Cal. And, oh yeah, by the way, the second he got a good head coach, they became a big-time club. He's still young. He's entering his prime. Oh yeah, by the way, we do remember the Kansas City game, right? Where supposedly Pat Mahomes is going to be the highest paid guy ever, because he's the greatest ever. Who won that game? Who threw 4 touchdowns and didn't have an interception in that game? Well, Kansas City's defense is not good, and the Rams' defense is good, so that's why Pat Mahomes threw the interceptions. Okay. In the game of the year, he threw for 413 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Right? I mean, heck, even the first time they lost in New Orleans, he threw for 391, 3 touchdowns, interception. And oh yeah, by the way, everyone likes to point out the blown pass interference call in NOLA, right? Everybody wants to point that out? We do remember that the Rams got the ball, marched down the field, scored. We do remember that Drew Brees faded late in the season, faded in that game, and Jared Goff did not. So, do I think that Jared Goff is quarterback Jesus? No, I think Mahomes is better. You know, I'm okay saying Pat Mahomes is better. But I would also point out that Jared Goff threw for 4,688 yards last year. Whether he had Todd Gurley, didn't have Todd Gurley. Sure, they only scored 3 points in the Super Bowl. Patriots have made a lot of people look bad. He threw for more yards than Andrew Luck, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Watson, and Derek Carr. Oh, well, that's not good enough. It's how many touchdown passes he threw for. Okay. He threw for more touchdown passes than basically everybody except for Pat Mahomes. He's coming off a great year. He's not going to get worse. He's going to get better. He is a pocket passer, which does have an incredible amount of longevity. Don't believe me? And Jared Goff threw for the 6th most touchdown passes in the league. And of course, they didn't really play last game of the season. That's behind Mahomes, Luck, who's not in the league anymore, Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson, and Ben Roethlisberger. And he only threw 12 interceptions as opposed to Big Ben's 16 and Andrew Luck's 15, which is the same number as Pat Mahomes. Is Jared Goff going to get better? Yes. Does he fit the system with the Rams? Yes. He's going to make a small amount of money this year, and this is kind of the back end to pay him as he gets a big boy football contract. Sure. Can we assume that he'll get better knowing the system, knowing the personnel? Yes. Will the Rams get cost certainty at the quarterback position? Yes. Now, would I have paid him that much? No, I probably would have found a way to hey, look, dude, we paid you like the number 1 pick, which gave you more than any other guy. We stood by you after a bad first year. You performed really, really well. So give us a little bit of a hometown discount, and we'll pay you for a long time. I don't think this contract is crazy. To find a quarterback in the NFL that not only can play but can fit your system is maybe the hardest thing to do. And he does both. And he's super, super young as well. So, I don't love necessarily how the Rams pay guys early and sometimes overpay, but that's not a terrible contract. He's 24 years old. There's a chance he can do this for another 15 years. He's not going to get worse. He's going to get better. Let's bring in Dan Beyer, who is about to post on online, on Twitter.
Put it on Twitter, on my Twitter handle just a little while ago at Dan Beyer on Fox, my entire predictions for the 2019 NFL season. Divisions 1 through 4, how the playoffs are going to play out, who's seated where, even some individual awards as well, Doug. Okay,
so let's start with who do you have winning each division? Right, you want to start with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's start with the NFC East. That's the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants, and the Redskins. Go.
I like the Eagles to win that division. I have Dallas in second, and then I actually have the Giants in third. I do not believe in Washington. I think Washington can end up being a dumpster fire. I don't know if Jay Gruden's going to make it through the season. Giants may be bad, but I think that Washington has the ability to be really bad. But Philadelphia and Dallas are obviously.
Now, did you go through the whole schedule and give records?
Did not.
Okay.
No,
all right.
did not.
NFC North.
I've got Chicago winning the division. I've got the Lions in second place, followed by Minnesota, and I have Green Bay in last.
Why are you not buying Green Bay? You Wisconsin.
Yeah, I know.
Former homer, now trader.
I'm gonna bring something up that happened in Hard Knocks. Look at how intimidated Matt LaFleur was in addressing John Gruden about the field a couple of episodes ago. If he's intimidated by John Gruden, how in the world is he going to deal with an entire season with Aaron Rodgers? Like, that to me is a bad sign when there were already questions about whether LaFleur had the pedigree to be an NFL head coach.
Yeah.
I think that was a big sign. I actually really like Detroit's wide receivers. They added Danny Amendola. You've got Kenny Golladay. They drafted TJ Hawkinson. Of course, you have Marvin Jones. And now you have a healthy Kerryon Johnson. I'm worried about Minnesota. Maybe Gary Kubiak comes in and saves the day, but I actually like Detroit to surprise this year.
I will say this about the Bears. they have a remarkably difficult schedule. Remarkably because, remember, they cross over against the AFC West. Now, the good news about the AFC West crossover is the two best teams in the AFC West are the Chargers and the Chiefs. They get the Chargers week 8, which means before they'll have their starting left tackle, before they have Derwin James back. I think they'll have Melvin Gordon by then, but they also get him at home, and they get the Chiefs at home as well. That's week 16 of the season. But their schedule, I mean, think about who they, out of their division, they play Denver on the road, they play Washington on the road, they play Oakland on the road. Not crazy games, but those are made more difficult because they're on the road.
Well, yeah, and remember, the entire division has to play the AFC West. So the Packers...
I understand, but where they play them and how they play them. And then there are because they're the first place team, they play the Rams, for example, on the road. They play the Cowboys at home on the 5th of December. That's the Cowboys coming off of Thanksgiving week, right? So the Bears have I like the Packers to win that division. I'm with you. I don't know about Matt LaFleur, but I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he wasn't intimidated by Gruden. Maybe he was intimidated by the fact that he knew Gruden was mic'd and he didn't want to say anything stupid into the mic because he's not used to being on Hard Knocks.
Fair enough.
NFC South.
I like the Falcons to win the division this year.
Matt Ryan seems to have gone from the most overrated to the most underrated quarterback in the league.
And I think Calvin Ridley will get better and better outside of Julio Jones. I have the Saints second, Panthers third, Buccaneers fourth.
I'm with you.
NFC West, I have the Seahawks winning the division. I think that the Rams are going to have a hangover. I don't believe necessarily in Jared Goff. I also don't think that we can just assume that Cooper Kupp's going to be the same guy that he was as Jared Goff's favorite target.
Who's Russell Wilson going to throw to?
Tyler Lockett. They also had the top running game in the National Football League last year. They're now with their front seven. I think it is going to be very, very dangerous. They actually played the Rams tough last year, losing both series games.
They did. And they could have won that last game, which was super weird how they. AFC East.
Yeah, East Patriots. I do like the Jets making the playoffs. I have them in second, followed by Buffalo and Miami. AFC North, I'm high on Pittsburgh this year. I think that they win the division.
Great. They win Sunday night, too.
Yeah. Even as a 6.5 point underdog.
Yeah, like them straight up.
Ravens, I still have second. I'm sorry. When everybody is going one way, I like Baltimore going the other. Cleveland, I'll believe it when I see it, have them third, and Bengals fourth.
Cleveland has a chance to be a dumpster fire if the offensive line, if they have an injury on that offensive line, their line is not strong. AFC South.
Jacksonville winning the division.
Ahead of Houston, who went for it.
Yeah, I think the lack of Blake Bortles being there actually is very refreshing. No offense to Blake Bortles, but that's very offensive that I said
Bortles.
that.
He was not good.
The Colts, I actually think, have a better roster than people will give them credit for.
I agree, but I don't think they have what Houston has. Houston has a good roster.
Sure.
And I think Tennessee's a good team. I think that's a hard-fought division. I like Houston to win the division again. Jacksonville to make the playoffs, and Tennessee and Indy to not make the playoffs.
Oh, interesting. AFC West, I actually have the Chargers winning the division this year.
Problem with the Chargers is injuries, right? I mean, you
just let them out. Yeah.
You have without 3 Pro Bowlers and without your All-Pro and Derwin James. All right, great stuff. Dan Byer's got that. Follow him on Twitter. What's the Twitter handle?
At Dan Byer on Fox.
Hi, I'm Doug Gottlieb from Fox Sports Radio, and you need to subscribe to the Fox Sports Radio YouTube channel where you can hear and see me. Why not? Plus everybody else who's awesome here in Fox Sports Radio.